Hi guys, this is Akash from OFFTRACK NOMADS. So welcome back to our English series with a target to achieve our success in the AFCAT 1 2026, right? So this video is a continuation of the last two videos where we saw the first video was based on strategy and the next two videos was your AFCAT Mock 1 and Mock 2, which consists of just 25 questions. This will be an English Marathon 1 where we'll be discussing 50 questions based on your AFCAT recent exam plan, right? So without wasting much time, let's dwell into the question paper. Okay, we will be discussing the latest questions based on the latest trend. The topics here again would be the same. That is, we'll be discussing error spotting. We'll be discussing error spotting, sentence improvement. We'll be discussing logical arrangement of sentences, and we'll be discussing close test, your synonyms and antonyms, and finally, comprehension, right? So the 50 questions will be distributed along this track. And not to forget, we'll have word substitution too. So these are the areas in which the 50 questions are aligned with. So we'll be going very slowly, but very crisp too. So the question, what is the answer and why it is so? So that will be the major part we'll be discussing as part 1 and part 2. So before going for the question, I would like to bring out that AFCAT 1 and 2, OFFTRACK NOMADS is going to have their next batch starting for AFCAT 2 2026 from March 2 2026, right? The cost for this batch would be 3,499, which is 25% discount for all the NCC cadet. Not only that, if you have cleared your written examination, you will get 50% off in your SSP coaching too. So this course will be a culminating course where it will be an iterative process where the Monday to Thursday, you will be getting your recorded lectures. Friday and Saturday, live classes will be there for all the students based on the subject which was taken in the current week. Not only that, regular tests on Sundays, daily English quants assignments. Okay. So these are the areas which will be covered in the AFCAT next course, which is starting on 2nd March. Okay. So see you all in the class. So before closing out, this thing will be directly going for the question. But the first question is, so question number 1 to 6, we'll be discussing only the error spotting. To spot the error, the following questions from question number 1 to 6. Identify the part containing an error. Neither the pilots nor the ground crew were aware of the impending storm. Neither the pilots nor the ground crew were aware of the impending storm. So what is the error, sir? Exactly. The error is here. It is neither the pilots nor the ground crew was available. Because it is so, as I told you in my previous mock discussion too, whenever you have two, it is not a subject. See, subject here is neither. It is a singular subject. Kindly remember, here, neither is a singular subject. But what are the two nouns which is given here? One is pilots, another is ground crew. Here both are, one is singular and another one is plural. That you have to accept. Here, there is a rule in English that is the second person. If the second person here, if it is plural, then where is correct answer? If the second person, the second noun, I would say the second noun, here it is brought out in singular phase. So, since when you have two nouns, kindly remember this rule. When you have two nouns, always remember, I have told you in my previous videos too, that the auxiliary verb should be in accordance to the subject. Here the subject is neither. Neither is a singular subject. Neither is a singular subject. Clear? Here, we had to consider the noun part. Here, two nouns are given. One is a singular, another is plural. But according to the placement, the second noun, if the second noun is plural, then the accompanying auxiliary verb can be plural. That is, where is correct. Since here the second noun is singular, then the nearby auxiliary verb has to be singular only. So it is neither the pilots nor the ground crew was aware of the impending storm. The same question, neither the ground crew nor the pilots. If instead of ground crew, if the noun placement is pilots, then the answer is correct. Where is correct? But since here the second placement of the noun is singular, so that is the reason you don't bring out. That is the reason the error here is where? Since the second placement of the noun is singular. Clear? The first one, the answer is neither the pilots nor the ground crew was aware of the impending storm. Right, gentlemen? Next question. The intelligence report suggests that reinforcement are en route. Again, here it is a error on subject and auxiliary verb. Here, what is the subject here? Intelligence report suggests that reinforcement are en route. It's not are en route, it's en route. Because the auxiliary verb, please remember, my dear friend, the auxiliary verb has to be in accordance to the subject only. Here, the subject is intelligence report. It is a singular subject. Even though intelligence may seem plural, but it is a singular subject. It is a singular subject. Okay. So it is suggests that reinforcement is en route. Clear? Next one. Next question. Identify the part containing an error. A series of lectures were organized for the cadets. So what is the error here? Again, so what is the subject here? Let me tell you. So I told you, you have to check for the subject before you answer it. So what is the subject here? Lecturers. No. Lecturers is not the subject. Series is a subject. Series is going to be a subject. Okay. So series is, even though it may seem plural, but it is a singular subject. It is a singular subject. Okay, singular subject. Series. So it is a continuation. It is taken as a singular subject. So what should be the auxiliary verb here? It is was. Series of lectures. If instead of lectures, it is just a lectures, the lectures. It is not a lectures, then it is lecturers. Lectures were organized for the cadets. Then it is correct. If there is no A, there is no series. If there is only lectures, then it is correct. Because here it is going to be a subject. But the question is not so. It is a series of lectures. Here, series is considered as a singular subject. Please remember. The series of lectures were organized for the cadets. Clear? Next question. Next part. The committee, along with the advisors, is recommending stricter protocol. The committee, along with the advisors, is recommending stricter protocol. So always remember subject, object, verb. What is the subject here? Committee. It is singular or plural? It is a singular. So we have discussed in our previous videos too that if it is committee, singular. The jury, plural. Correct? If it is army, singular. If it is police, plural. So this you have to keep in your mind, my dear friends. So here, the committee, along with the advisors, is recommending stricter protocol. So this word, along with, it means that they go and join with the committee. Along with this, considered as a whole, and they mingle with committee. Since here, committee is a singular subject, this is correct. So the answer is no error. If the same question, the advisors along with the committee. The same question, if the advisors along with the committee. If this is the question, then the answer has to be R. If this is the question, the answer has to be R, because what is the subject there? It is a plural subject. That is the reason. Okay, since it is a plural subject. But here, it is a singular subject. Committee is a singular subject. It's the same question. Instead of committee, it is jury or police. Then the answer has to be R. If not, the advisors, because advisors along with the committee means the committee goes and join with advisors. Then advisors is the plural subject. Okay. So this you have to keep this in mind. This is very, very important part. So please remember, my dear friends, committee along with, if not along with, if it is as well as, if not along with, if it is as well as, even it if along with or as well as that, as well as, even it is along with or as well as, the second noun goes and join with the first noun. So first noun overshadows second noun. So the first noun only has to be considered. Here the first noun is singular, so that is it is only is. Clear? Right? Next one. Scarcely had the drill commenced when the equipment malfunctioned. Scarcely had the drill commenced when the equipment malfunctioned. So what is the answer? Exactly. Scarcely had the drill commenced when the equipment malfunctioned. No error. This no error. There is no error here. So this we have discussed in our previous questions. Okay. So in the first mock test, I still remember I had told you, just kindly go and check scarcely had. Scarcely had or scarcely did come. What is the connecting conjunction has to be? If no sooner than come, what should be the connection? What should the connection? Conjunction has to be to go and check. So this was the assignment. I still remember I was given. It was given to you guys when we were discussing the first mock test. Right? So scarcely had come. Kindly check what should be the connecting conjunction has to be. Okay. Same like no sooner. So these two are very, very important. When no sooner had come. So what should be the connecting? It has to be than. Okay. For no sooner it has to be than. Scarcely it is when. Okay. So it is no error. Next one. Next part. Every one of the soldiers must submit their gear by task. So what is the error then? Yes, tell me what is the error? Every one of the soldiers. So here, what is the subject here? It is singular. Everyone is it is singular subject. So every one of the soldiers must submit their, so it is not there because they represent plural. It has to be singular. What is that? Everyone means each and everyone. Everyone is considered. It has to be his or her. So please keep this in mind. Either it can be his or it can be her. But his or her or his has to be mentioned because when it talks about everyone means each and everyone. Each and every one of the soldiers present is represented or taken into account. So in that case, every one of the soldiers must submit their gear. Here, the auxiliary verb, the pronoun there is replaced by the objective pronoun is replaced by his or her. The objective pronoun is replaced by his or her. It applies for this also, each of the soldiers. It applies for the same like each of the soldiers. It applies for that also. So keep that as the piece. Okay. Next one. Got it. So because the subject was everyone. Okay. Choose the best replacement for the words in bold. So let's see. So it is sentence improvement. Question number 7. The commander ordered that the perimeter is secured immediately. The commander ordered the perimeter is secured immediately. So what should be the answer, my dear friends? So commander ordered that the perimeter be secured. So it is reporter speech. There's a reporter speech. Ordered that. Past tense. So it cannot come. It is be secured. The commander ordered that the perimeter be secured. Okay. Since it is the past tense, it's a reporter speech. The auxiliary verb this has to be converted to speech. Right. Next one. No sooner when the siren sound than the troops mobilized. See, this was thing which I was telling you with the previous 2 questions. No sooner, so it is that. So no sooner is always accompanied by had or had. Okay, had or did. Please remember that. Same goes for same. So same applies for hardly or scarcely. So what should be the answer for this? No sooner had the siren sounded. So the verb has to be in V3. Please remember, the verb has to be in V3. You can ask me, sir, why not did the? You had told me that It can be either had or did. That's correct. But still, check. It is not sounded. The verb has to be V3. The verb has to be in V3. This you have to keep in your mind. Okay. So no sooner. The connecting word has to be did or had. Had the siren sounded. It applies for scarcely also. The verb has to be V3. The connecting conjunction has to be than for no sooner, and scarcely or hardly, whenever that term, it has to be when. So keep this in mind. Okay. So this applies for scarcely or hardly or rarely. Scarcely, hardly, rarely. So these are the words. And please remember, the words has to be in V3. So when do you use verbs V3? When you are using in perfect sentences. When you are using in perfect. When you are using this in perfect tenses. When you are using this in perfect tenses, please keep that in mind. What are the perfect sentence? So whenever has, have, had. So whenever have, had, and has come, you have to use the auxiliary. The verb has to be in. Keep this in. Next one. She acts as though she knows everything about practice. She acts as though she knows everything about practice. Ninth one. So it is she acts as though she knew everything about practice. So it is not she knows, she knew. Past tense. She acts as though she knows everything about the practice. Okay. Clear? Next one. The policy affects. Very interesting question. Just look into the 10th question mark. Very, very interesting one. The policy affects you and I equally. Policy affects you and I equally. So what should be the answer, sir? The policy affects you and me equally. It is not you and I, it is you and me. Okay. So you and me. It has to be in, me has to be in subjective case. It is not an objective case. Sorry, it has to be in objective case. Me has to be in objective case. The policy affects you and me equally. So very interesting, very easy. Very interesting as well as very easy. The policy affects you and me. It's not me and you, I and you. It is I and you, nothing. It is you and me. That's it. Next one. Right. Next one. Next one. 11th one. Hardly when he arrived, when the briefing began. Okay, very easy again. So I told you, whenever hardly comes, what should be the nearer word? It has to be had or said. So here the answer is hardly, either option C or option A. But the verb has to be in V3. So it is hardly, had he arrived when the briefing began. So kindly remember, my dear friends, whether it is hardly, scarcely, the nearer word has to be had or did. It applies for no sooner also. No sooner had he or no sooner did he. But what you have to keep in mind is the conjunction. For hardly it is when. For scarcely it is, sorry, for hardly it is when. For scarcely it is when. For rarely it is also when. But in case of no sooner, it has to be that. No sooner, it has to be that. So keep that in mind. Okay. So please remember, the verb has to be in V3. Very, very important. Next one. The officer suggested that we go prepared. Simple. The officer suggested that we go prepared. Very easy. The moment you read, you can understand the answer. The officer suggested we goes prepared. It is not goes prepared. It is we go prepared. Simple. Right. Next one. From question number 13 to 16, choose the word nearest in meaning to the word in bold. Exactly. So now we are moving towards synonym. So I have already always told my students that be very, very aware when you're answering this antonyms and synonyms, because people may tend to confuse between antonym and synonym when you are in the example. So whenever you see that, you shift your mind immediately. Only from question number 13 to 16, it is synonyms. After that, you may get new questions, or you may get the same one, or the questions may follow with antonyms too. So you have to be very, very careful here. So let's find out the meaning for obfuscate. Obfuscate. Okay, so what is the meaning of obfuscate? Yes, it is confused. It is confused. Still, if you're not able to find, see, I have told you a trick here. Still, obfuscate. Okay, the word is obfuscate. If you're not able to find the meaning for obfuscate, just check the options. Clarity, clarify, enlighten, simply. This three means almost the same, correct? This three means you almost the same. So you can directly go for the answer. Like you can close your eyes and you can answer. Confuse is the answer, because this word confuse is different from the options which is given. This word is different from the options which is given. So you can use this trick and tips. So please remember, whenever you are given with a new word, and if you don't know what is that, if you don't know what is this, so you can use this trick. Just check for the options. Check for the options, and you will find that 3 option or 2 option may be similar. Just ignore that, and the next 2 would be the answers for that. Right? So this is how you have to find the answer for this. Next one. Perfidious. Next is perfidious. What do you mean by perfidious? What do you mean by perfidious? Exactly. So the answer here is treacherous. Treacherous. The answer here is treacherous. What do you mean by treacherous? Guilty. Betrayal. 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 Okay, guilty. Betrayal. Deceitful. Untrustworthy. You can say untrustworthy. The answer is untrustworthy is the answer. Untrustworthy is the answer. Right? And again, you can go with the options too. Check for the option. It is loyal, honest, faithful. This 3 means the same. This 3 almost means the same. Correct? So what should be the answer then? It is treacherous. So it is untrustworthy. So please keep that in mind. Next one. Sanguine. Very, very interesting question. This is sanguine. This is this was asked in your previous AFCAT question number 2. So sanguine. What is sanguine? Exactly. That is optimistic. Yes, optimistic. What is pessimistic? Opposite to optimistic. Someone who brings in negative vibes, or someone who thinks negative is called as pessimistic. Okay. What is cynical? What is cynical? What do you mean by cynical? The meaning is, kindly note down, believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest. Believing that people are purely motivated by self-interest. So he is known as cynical. He is a person who is called as cynical. Right? Next one. Next word is lugubrious. Lugubrious. So the moment you have seen, I think you have got the right answer. Lugubrious. What do you mean by lugubrious? It is mournful. It is mournful. That is the right answer. So this also, you can go with the options. Option A, cheerful, joyful, and festive. Almost means the same. Means the same. That is being in happy mode or being enjoyment. Only mournful is the option which has a different meaning here. Right? Next one. So customer 17 to 20, choose the word opposite in meaning to the word in bold. So this is where the new trick comes up. So you have to be very careful when you answer this part of question. So check for what is given. So previously it was based on synonym. That is same meaning. Now it is, again it is, now you have to shift your mindset. Now they have asked you opposite. So what is inevitable? The first question is inevitable. What do you mean by inevitable? Something you cannot be avoided. Something which cannot be avoided. Then what is the answer, sir? It is avoided. Simple. It is avoided. Right? Please remember, you're not here to find the synonym. You're here to find the antonym. Okay? Next one. Next is, what is this? Epicurean. What is this? Epicurean. Next word is Epicurean. Who is Epicurean? And it's a pile, a student. Okay. What is this Epicurean? A person devoted to sensual enjoyment. Okay. So what is the answer for this? Epicurean is aesthetic. The opposite to is aesthetic. That is the right answer. So 18, the answer is B, aesthetic. So what is aesthetic then? What do you mean by aesthetic? It is characteristics by severe self-discipline. Characteristics by severe self-discipline. Okay, it is known as opposite of Epicurean. Okay, what do you mean by government? 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 A person who is very attached to food. Okay, person who is very attached to food. So find out the meaning for hedonist and sybarite. Find out the meaning for hedonist and sybarite. Next one. Proliferate. Proliferate. Next one is proliferate. What do you mean by proliferate? It is expand. It is expand. Meaning of proliferate is expand. So what is the answer then? It is diminish. The answer for it is diminish. Proliferate means expand. Multiply. So again, you can go with the options. Multiply, spread, expand. This all means the same. The one which is different is diminish. Next one. Next one is acquiescent. Next word is acquiescent. Next word is acquiescent. What do you mean by acquiescent? Someone who quietly agrees or accepts to what others want. Someone who quietly agrees to what others want. So what is the answer? Resistance. It is resistance. Opposite. See, someone who quietly agrees to what others say. It can be submissive also. Submissive means going for them. So it is submissive is going to be a synonym. So the answer for it, the antonym is resistance. So acquiescent. This is a small spelling mistake. Please note, it is Q-U-I. I has to come. After that, it is Q-U-I-E-S-S-E. Okay. So acquiescent, someone who quietly agrees or accepts to what others say. Right? Next one. Fine. Next one is very important, very interesting, which I love the most. Give a one word substitution to the given words. A place where coins are mint. Coins. You know what is the coins? Where coins are mint is known as coin. Mint. A place where coins are mint or minted are called as mint. So what do you mean by forge? What do you mean by forge? What do you mean by forge? It is a blacksmith workshop. A blacksmith workshop. You know who is a blacksmith? So it is a blacksmith. It is a blacksmith workshop. Okay. It is known as forge. What is arsenal? What is arsenal? What is arsenal? It is a collection of weapons and military equipment. A collection of weapons and military equipment. It is known as arsenal. Right? What is foundry? What is foundry? Foundry. What is foundry? It is a place where a factory that produces metal casting by melting metal and pouring into molds. A factory that produces metal casting by melting metals and pouring it into molds. Right? So please be aware of the meaning of the words. So one word substitution. In recent times of the AFCAT, it has been asked in a huge manner and it's quite tough to. So you have to know what is not. Someone who is unable to pay debt, bankrupt. Someone who is unable to pay debt is bankrupt. So who is insolvent? Who is insolvent? What is insolvent? It is a company that cannot pay debts. Insolvent is a company. Okay, it is a company who cannot pay its debt. Okay, so please beware. Bankrupt, a person who is not. It is a company which cannot. A company which cannot. Next one. Government by the nobles. The government by the nobles. It is aristocracy. Government by the nobles is known as aristocracy. What is oligarchy? What is oligarchy? Oligarchy. A small group of people having control of a country or organization. So a small group of people having control of a country or organization is known as oligarchy. Small group of people having control of a country or is known as choreography. Okay. What is plutocracy? What is plutocracy? So government by the wealthy. A government which is ruled by the wealthy. Government which is ruled by the wealthy. Okay. So you know who is a monarch? It is ruled by a single this one. You know who is a monarch? You know who is a monarch? It is ruled by a king. It is ruled by a king. Monarch is something which is ruled by a king. So aristocracy, government which is ruled by the nobles. Learned men. Learned. Okay. Next one. So aristocracy, another the in-depth meaning is the highest class in certain societies. So who are called as nobles? The learned men or the highest class. Nobles are someone who is called as a learned man or the highest class. So please keep that in mind. So a person, a country, a government which is ruled by nobles, the highest class of people, right? Next one. Study of birds. Very, very easy here. Study of birds. Can you tell me what is that? Study of birds, it is ornithology. Study of birds, it is ornithology, right? Study of birds is known as ornithology. What is entomology? What is entomology? It is study of insects. Entomology is study of insects. The study of insects. What is herpetology? What is herpetology? It is focusing on branch of study of amphibians. Branch of study of amphibians. It is related to branch of study of amphibians. Okay, right? What is study of bones called as? Study of bones. What do you mean by the study of bones? It is osteology. Please note down the study of things here. Very, very important. Study of bones is known as osteology. Study of bones is known as osteology. Bones. Right? It's known as osteology. Next is study of fruits. What do you mean by study of fruits? It's known as pomology. Study of fruits is known as pomology. Okay. So you find out what is the study of cancer. Okay. What is the study of human psychology? Okay. So find out what is the study of fruits and flowers. Both fruits and flowers. Horticulture. Horticulture. Okay. Horticulture. So like this, you have to find out what is the study of each and everything. Okay. So you have to find out the study of this 10 most important study like this. This will definitely come in your AFCAT because either it may come in your English part or they may come in your reasoning part, but it would come. So be ready for that. So question number 21, 25 to 28, find the meaning of the idioms and phrases. So first question is to play fast and loose. To play fast and loose. Easy. It is to be unreliable and inconsistent. To be unreliable or inconsistent. That is the meaning of to play fast and loose. Next one. It is not okay. Next one. To feather one's nest. To feather one's nest. What is that? Feathers one's nest. So you feathering your own nest. So it is to amass well dishonestly. To amass well dishonestly. To make yourself wealth. So meaning of this to feather one's nest is you bring in your own wealth. You develop yourself in terms of wealth, but honestly. That is the most important word here. Dishonestly. Next one. A wild goose chase. 27. A wild goose chase. Wild goose chase. It is futile pursuit. Futile pursuit. That means it ends up in none. It ends up in none. So please remember, my dear friends, I have already told you in my classes, like in my question paper discussions too, whenever you come through idioms and phrases, make sure that you convert in your mother tongue and grasp that and then answer. Grasp and associate with the options and then answer. You will definitely find answers. You will definitely find answers. You will find it. So whenever, because idioms and phrases, there are lots and lots of idioms and phrases. We may not know, we cannot like keep up. To be frank, to be on a practical note, we may not remember everything. So what is the trick? 80% of the time it falls. Whenever you get an idiom and phrase, convert into your mother tongue, associate with the answers, sometimes you make it there. Okay. Let's just dig in your heels. Dig in your heels. Dig in your heels. Dig in your heels. What is the meaning of dig in your heels? Just find out. Let me see. With this, dig in your heels, the meaning is to hold your ground, to stand firmly. It is refuse to give in. Refuse to give in. You refuse not to surrender. It is to refuse not to surrender or refuse not to give up. It is known as hold your, dig in your heels. Next one. Question number 29 to 32. Fill in the blanks. The strategy proved dash in the long run. Strategy proved dash in the long run. So for attending the synonym, for attending the fill in the blanks, we have discussed a strategy. What is that? Understand what is the crux of the given idea, given fill in the blanks and associate with the option. So it talks about the strategy, proved dash in the long run. So it is something talking about strategy. So let's check with the option. Counterproductive, counterproduct, counters productive, none of the above. So definitely it is a failure product, failure strategy. So it is counterproductive. The off strategy, counterproductive in the long run. It is counterproductive in the long run. It is not counterproduct. Counters productive is not wrong. So sometimes what people do is they answer it quickly. So here they find counterproductive, they answer this. But they would have missed out this. Yes. So it is counterproductive in the long run. The strategy, counterproductive in the long run. Next one. Despite the odds, they dash with the mission. So despite the odds means despite the difficulties or despite the any problem, they dash with the mission. They pursue, they move forward, they did not give up. They did not give up. Has pursued cannot come here because it is not a perfect sentence. Okay, perfect tense. So despite the odds, they pursued with the mission. Pursued with, they went forward irrespective of any obstacle. Next one. The leak dashed the entire operation. The leak dashed the entire operation. So it talks about the leak which should have jeopardized. This jeopardized. Jeopardized. So what do you mean by jeopardized? What do you mean by jeopardized? What do you mean by jeopardized? Threaten, endanger. Endanger. So give up, bring in some danger. Okay. So the leak. Jeopardized. It is the leak. Greek or like any operation. When you're going for operation, If the sensitive informations are leaked to the enemy, what happens? You are in danger. They will know your loopholes. They will definitely know your entry and exit. So it is a danger to you guys. Next one. He dash loyalty but betrayed the. He dash loyalty but betrayed the unit. He professed option number D. He professed loyalty but betrayed the unit. What do you mean by professed? What do you mean by professed? He self-acknowledged. Meaning of his self-acknowledged. Okay. Self-acknowledged. He self-acknowledged loyalty but betrayed the unit. He was self-acknowledged to the loyalty. Whose loyalty? To the enemy loyalty. But he betrayed the unit. He betrayed the unit. So the answer is he professed. Meaning of professed is claimed openly but often falsely. Claimed openly but often falsely. So he has wrongly loyal. He has given wrong loyalty. So that is what they have mentioned it. Next one. Arrange the following to form a coherent passage, which demands split decision. So again, in this kind of sentences, what is this kind of sentences? It is nothing but your logical ordering of sentence. So what is the trick which I have told you guys? Read the given sentence, identify what is it is talked about, and then associate with the option, go for it. So let's check. So 33, P which demands split second decisions, aerial combat, test pilot reflexes under extreme test stress. So it talks about aerial combat. So definitely I know aerial combat has to be the first one. So Q, let's check what are the options which has Q. Option A and option D. So I ignore option B and C. So it is aerial combats. Definitely either R or P has to be second one, which demands split second decision, or aerial combat test pilot reflexes. Both may come. So let's check aerial combat which demands split second decisions, or aerial combat test pilot reflexes which demands split second decisions under extreme stress. So option A is the right answer. Option D cannot. Aerial combat which demand split second decisions, test pilot reflexes under extreme stress. It is not. It has to be aerial combat test pilot reflexes which demands split second decisions under extreme stress. So option A has to be right answer. Right. Next one. Intelligent analysis prevents ambitious plays on patterns in enemy movement. Intelligent analysis prevents ambitious plays on patterns in enemy movements. So first one has to be option P. So either option B or option D. That is going to be my answer. I found out. Okay. So it is intelligent analysis plays on pattern. Exactly. So option P and R are playable. So option B is the right answer. Intelligent analysis relies on pattern in enemy movements. Intelligent analysis relies on pattern in enemy movements, prevents ambushes. Right? 35. Logistic failures lead to supply shortages, crippling forward units in prolonged campaigns. 35. So logistic failures lead to supply shortages, crippling forward units in prolonged campaigns. So PQRS is the right answer. Option A. It comes in same order. Right. Next one. Cyber threats evolve rapidly in requiring adaptive defenses beyond conventional warfare. So 36. Again, this was giving me a right answer. So cyber threats evolve rapidly, requiring adaptive defenses beyond conventional warfare. So option D is the right answer. Okay. Next one. So question number 37 to 42. Choose the word to fill in the passage. So this part we'll be discussing on closed test. Closed test, again, it is very similar to fill in the blanks, but What is the difference you will find here? You'll find that 2 options are interconnected. 2 to 3 options are interconnected. So what is the trick to answer this cloze test? You have to read the given cloze test, understand what is the scenario, associate with the option, and then go forward. Asymmetric warfare challenges conventional doctrines, where weaker foes employ dash tactics like guerrilla ambushes. Superior forces must counter with dash intelligence and mobility to adapt dash plans. Failure to adapt often results in dash quagmires. Ultimately, victory hinges on dash the enemies built through sustained pressure. This paradigm shift dash future conflict profoundly. So please remember, always attend your cloze test and comprehension at the last. Always attend it at the last. You should have a minimum of 8 minutes to attend both comprehension and cloze test, because all the answers lie within the question itself. It's all about treasuring of the answers. So please keep that in mind, right? So asymmetric warfare challenges conventional doctrines, where weaker foes employ tactics like guerrilla ambushes. So it is talking about warfare systems. Superior forces must counter with dash intelligence and mobility to avoid traps. Failure to adapt often such results in quagmires. Ultimately, victory hinges on the enemy's will through sustained pressure. This paradigm shift future conflict perfectly. So what they are mentioning is warfare challenges conventional doctrines, not on traditional methods. So let's check with the options. Let's go for the questions. So first answer 37. It is 37. What was the question? Aerial asymmetric warfare challenges conventional doctrines, where weaker foes employ dash tactics. It is unconventional. Weaker foes employ unconventional tactics like guerrilla ambushes. Okay, so the answer is option B, unconventional tactics. 37, 38. Superior forces must counter with dash intelligence and mobility to avoid dash traps. So superior forces must compete with real time. Option B. The answer is real time. Okay. 39. The answer is 39. The answer is elusive. 39. What is it? What was it? 39. Ability to avoid elusive. What do you mean by elusive? Elusive traps. Meaning of elusive is difficult to find that. So you have to superior forces. What superior forces must do? They counter with real-time intelligence and mobility to avoid traps, difficult traps. Okay, so you should be contemporary. That's what the passage is all about. 40. It is prolonged. Option D, prolonged. Failure to adapt often results in prolonged quagmires. What is it? Prolonged quagmires. What do you mean by quagmires? Mix up or mess. Hazard situation. Failure to adapt to modern warfare. What happened? You will always get hit in quagmire. What is the quagmire? Mess or problem. That's what they want to mean. Next one is 41. 41. It is the breaking. 41. It is breaking. 41 is just the breaking. Okay. 41 it is the breaking. So 41, what is it talked about? Ultimately, victory hinges on breaking the enemy's will through sustained pressure. Exactly. So you have to break the enemy's will through sustained pressure. This paradigm shift dash future conflict. This paradigm shapes future conflict. So you have to be very careful while attending cloze test, because cloze test, the answers lies within itself, and you have to find the right answer. Yes. Next one. So last part of the question paper, that is your comprehension. So let's go with comprehension. Again, comprehension, as I said, it is the answers lies within itself. You have to find the right answer. So what you have to do is, you have to go through the you have to go through the option ones. You have to go through the, you have to go to the paragraph ones, understand what it is talked about, and then go for the options, go for the question, right? Do not take it much time. Most of the aspirants, what the mistake they do here is they take a huge time. They take a lot of time answering it. Don't do that. You should take a minimum of just, I would say, 5 minutes. So that's why it is given 8 minutes for close test as well as your comprehension. And never attempt comprehension at the first. Always attempt at the last. If you are attending at the first, then you are at the loser's end, because you will not have enough time and you will be put under pressure to answer quickly, so that you will not understand what is error spotting. You will revolt yourself during the exam. So always attend all the 20 questions first. Have 8 minutes minimum for close test as well as passage. Okay, so let's go with your question. Quantum computing heralds a revolution in cryptography, rendering current encryption obsolete overnight. Militaries racing to harness qubits face ethical dilemmas. Supremacy and code breaking could deter aggression. Yet proliferation risks exposing streets secrets globally. Unlike classical bits, qubits exploit superposition for parallel processing, solving intractable problems instantaneously. However, error-prone hardware and decoherence demand breakthroughs in fault-tolerant designs. Nations investing in quantum secure networks will dominate cyber defense, but laggards risk strategic paralysis. So what did you understand? Let's check out. So quantum computing heralds a revolution in cryptography, rendering current encryption obsolete overnight. Militaries racing to harness qubits face ethical dilemmas. Supremacy in code breaking. So you have to be very well advanced in code breaking could deter aggression, yet proliferation risk exposing secrets globally. Unlike classical bits, qubits exploit superposition for parallel processing, solving intractable problems instantaneously. However, error-prone hardware and decoherence demand breakthrough in fault-tolerant designs. Nations investing in quantum secure network will dominate cyber defenses, but laggards risk strategic paralysis. Right? So it talks about this passage, an overall one talks about quantum computing, which is an advanced computers. Okay, so how we have to be very secure in that. If the secrets are out, it will expose to the world. Okay, so quantum computing. What is quantum computing? As I told you, it is the most advanced one. Okay, quantum computing. It means it uses subatomic particles to store information. It is a very, very latest one. Okay, so it can store huge information. So quantum computing primarily threatens. What does it threaten? Threatens current encryption. What do you mean by current encryption? Right? It talks about current data security. The current data security is not that much advanced. So quantum, it is very well, I think it is very well given in your passage itself. So quantum computing heralds a revolution in cryptography, rendering current encryption. So it is very well given in your first paragraph itself, first line itself. What is that? It rendering current encryption. It affects. Rendering means it affects. Okay. So this is why I told you reading comprehension is very important, because you will find the answers with it. Okay. Qubit differs from classical bits by using qubits differ from classical bits by using. So let's check with the option. Qubits face ethical dilemma, supremacy in code breaking could deter aggression, yet proliferation thus exploding globally. Okay. Unlike classical bit, qubit express superposition for parallel processing. So you'll have the answers here. So you're having answers here. So cubical bits. So the answer is superposition. Option number A. So this is what I want to mean here, my dear friends. You'll find the option within itself. You'll find the answers within the given question paper itself. Only thing is you have to read it properly. The main challenge, next one is The main challenge with qubits is error proneness. It is error. The main challenge with qubit is, qubit means, what do you mean by qubits? So it is quite a technical one. This passage is quite a technical one. We need to understand certain technical parts. Otherwise, also no issues. You can go with the options. You can like treasure out the answers, no issues. Qubits, it is another term for quantum bit particles. Okay. So the answer is error prone. The main challenge. So it is given in the passage itself. Check. Okay. Error prone hardware. Recurrent demand breakthrough in quality system. So the answer is error proneness and decoherence. So what is decoherence meaning? So decoherence means the process where quantum system loses its unique quantum properties. Quantum system loses its unique quantum properties. So that is the meaning of decoherence. Okay. Next one is ethical dilemmas arise from. Let's check. Ethical dilemmas arise from. Ethical dilemmas arise from. Third sentence. Military racing to harness which face ethical dilemmas. Supremacy in code breaking could deter aggression. So what does it mean? So you face ethical dilemmas when you break code breaking. So when you break others' code, you face ethical dilemmas. So that is what it is talked about. That is what it is talked about. So ethical dilemmas arise from code breaking supremacy. So you face the concept of ethical dilemma here. Okay, 46A. Next one. 47. Intractable. What do you mean by intractable? It is difficult to solve. Difficult to solve. Right? Next one. Nations ahead in quantum tech will lead in. So nations which are ahead in quantum tech, because quantum tech is quite it is quite costly, and not all the countries in the world have. So nation with this will lead in cyber defense. Cyber defense, because the data cannot be tracked easily. The data cannot be hacked easily. So that is the reason. 49. Passage stone is. So what is the passage stone? What is the passage stone? It is analytical. It is giving you analytical thinking. It is giving on the basis of analytics. So just know what is descriptive passage. So this is the task for you guys. Descriptive. Find out what is descriptive passage. What is descriptive passage? Find out what is dialogic passage. Dialogic. Find out what is a dialogic passage. What is prescriptive passage? What is a prescriptive passage? And find out what is monologue. Okay. So these are the very, very important types of passage just need to understand. Okay. So this passage stone is analytical, where it is talking about like how having a quantum tech would help a country. Okay. Laggards in quantum investment phase. So what are laggards? So laggards refers to people, companies or investment that are slow to adapt to new ideas. So laggards, very interesting. So as I told you in this part, if this quantum technology is not inherited earlier, so what happens? You will face problems. You will face investment phase, strategic paralysis. Strategic means long-term ideas, long-term goals, long-term planning. You will face paralysis there. You cannot move forward from one stage. If you're still using conventional methods or traditional methods, you cannot move forward. So that's what it's talking about. Laggards means the people who are opposing or are not slow to adapt to new ideas. So quantum tech, as I told you, it is a fast-growing one and it is very important one. If you're not adapting to it quickly, you will face strategic paralysis. That's what it is talked about here. Right? Fine? Clear? So that's it. with this, we come to the end of the question paper discussion, right? So we have come to the end of the marathon. So it's been a long 1 hour. We have been talking about questions only. Like we have discussed 50 questions. So the areas were error spotting. We have discussed closures, comprehension, synonym, antonym. We have discussed from the options too. And also we have discussed logical arrangement of sentences. I told you why it is so in error spotting, word substitution, fill in the blanks, and logical arrangement too, right? So still last one marathon is left, where we again discussing 50 important questions for AFCAT English that we would be practiced again with the methodologies which is asking your examination, right? So with this, we come to the end of the video. Thank you. Prepare hard for the AFCAT examination. It's just a few days away, and meet you soon in another video. Thank you. Jai Hind.